On this week's episode of I-501C, the podcast for nonprofit board members, I'm going to riff solo again. And this time I'm going to talk a little bit about, well, kind of what we talked about last week, new fiscal year for many nonprofit boards, new board members coming on. Now is not the time to stop relaxing your recruiting of new board members. And so this is really directed to the governance committee chairs out there, nominating committee chairs and CEOs. You're always recruiting for board members. That's something you want to do throughout the year. And hopefully you are using some type of matrix to assess current skills. And then also, as you look at the direction of the organization, what kind of board members, what skill set, what demographic backgrounds will you need? So you've got the current state, current skills, think of that board matrix, and you've got the future state, and you try to close that gap. And as you going about your business throughout the year and preparing for the next time you're going to ask somebody to join the board, you're using that as a tool to guide the questioning as you're interacting with people. You see, it's rare that you stumble across somebody and find the perfect board member in the matter of a few minutes when you meet them, him or her. Or what you should do is you're always thinking, always inquiring, always assessing what do you need and who is out there in the candidate pool, if you will. And you're asking your board members to feed and foster that as well. So by spreading your web a little bit wider and knowing what you're looking for, you've got a much better chance to start to identify potential board members. And remember, if you do identify them, feel free to use that committee as an opportunity to see them in action. If you have committees, most boards do, and most boards, the bylaws allow non-board members to be on those committees in a minority number, and that's fine. What a wonderful opportunity to test somebody, or ask them to volunteer at your organization. Because what you don't want to do is go into a rush decision to get people on the board just for board numbers' sake. I can tell you I've seen it too many times. That is just a recipe for disaster, for frustration, and a lot of time-consuming activity down the road. You really want to make sure you're recruiting and you're bringing on the appropriate board members for your organization now and over the next, typically 6 years, right? 2-3 year terms. Really important, the culture of that board. So don't give up on recruiting just because you brought some new board members on and you're starting to onboard them. It's important to always be recruiting. That is a never-ending task for the CEO, for the board chair, governance, nominating, and it really actually every board member. So there's your bit of advice going forward. Don't lull, don't rest on your laurels. Go out there and identify potential board members so that you've always got a candidate pool in place. So short and sweet today. And this is Michael Corley from the I-501C, the podcast for nonprofit board members, and we'll see you next week.